Welcome to the very first ever YouTube video of this channel. I am very excited to get to this point, but there's a lot of hiccups and I want to share those hiccups just so you're a part of this. This is the first time I'm uploading this. It is the first time I'm recording, third time that I'm going to be trying to upload it. The first two times that I recorded this, I accidentally recorded it in slow-mo motion and I did not realize until it was time to upload it. The third time, I can't even remember exactly what happened. And of course now the third time everything was perfect. Fourth time, this is now the fourth time recording this. The moment of uploading, a lot has happened that I don't want to go too deep into it because it'll take me a while, but to just say the least, it took me a couple of days to realize that the strategy that I was using to edit and that I was going to be using to upload was just not the strategy that I needed to use. And I just realized, you know what, it's time to move on. I need to record this differently. I need to record it again, and I just need to do and implement the things that I need to implement to make the video more accessible for the editing platform that I have. That way I no longer am gonna run with the hiccups that I ran earlier in this week. So fingers crossed that right now we're gonna record this, upload it, and everything's gonna be perfectly fine. I realized once everything was recorded that I didn't really like it as much, but I realized, you know what, it's my first video, like it's not gonna be perfect. The universe had other ideas for me. She had other intentions, and I think that's why I just ran with so many hiccups and so many issues in the process of uploading. It was just not the video meant to be uploaded, and that's okay. We understand that, we have come to accept it, and we let go. So now this is our first time recording this episode. Just before we get into this episode, quick little, how would I say, synopsis, like quick little thing of what we're going to be talking. I wanted to make the first video a little of an introduction of who I am, what I do, and most importantly what this page is going to be consisting of. I haven't named it yet. I've just put it as my name and my company's, and I really don't know if I want to put a name into it. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments, and I'd be more than open to name it, but as for now I'm just going to be calling it my channel. So we're definitely going to dive into those three topics in today's episode. A little bit of housekeeping. So you know, I will be uploading every Monday. As of right now, every Mondays you're going to receive new YouTube videos. So I'm really excited. And I think we can get into today's episode. So if I keep saying episode, I am sorry. It's because I am just so used to recording the podcast that I realized, okay, it's not an episode, it's a video, so bear with me. Okay, so like I mentioned, I really wanted to dive deep into this video of who I am, what I do, what's kind of like my mission, my passion, and once again, a little bit of how that's going to evolve or revolve into this channel. So my name is Dam. I'm originally from Ecuador, born and raised. I have a really interesting story in regard of how I've came into the fitness world, and more importantly, how I've came to open up my business and do what I do now. But before I'm able to explain that, I have to kind of explain a little bit of my story and go way back to my childhood for you to understand a little bit about my story and my passion today. So let's go back. I cannot tell you exactly how old I was. I know I was very young. You know how when you ever have those core memories or those core moments that they're just imprinted in your database, and there's nothing that you can do that will erase those memories, the emotions that you were feeling during that moment, even like smells and scents. Like sometimes you smell something, it takes you way back. That's what this core memory is for me. So I was way back in Ecuador. I remember all my family, we were watching the UFC fights. In that moment, we started to get into like a little bit of the UFC. That's when UFC kind of hit really big the first time. And most importantly, it hit really big because of one individual. And I say big because it's in regard of like the female community. So this core memory was when Ronda Rousey made her first appearance into the UFC, and most importantly, made her first appearance where she opened the doors for the female community in the combat sports. So I sat down, we were all sitting down watching her fight, and the only thing I can't remember is if we knew that she was gonna be fighting. I just remember seeing her walk out to her song, which her song is amazing. Walk out to her song. I remember her face, her energy, just her determination from going to like point A to the cage, point B. And that truly like struck me. I was, whoa, who is she, what is she doing? Just everything about that moment truly impacted me. And the way she fought, the way that she had the crowd going crazy for the fact that this female is in the UFC, and where is a very male dominant sport, and where you usually do not, and I mean, we're talking maybe at least 10 years where back then we were still seeing a lot of stereotypes in regard of like females shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that, they should look like this, they should look like that. And I feel like we still see it nowadays, but of course it was way much more deeper back then. And I remember seeing her and then just instantly having that feeling of, I want to be like her. I want to do exactly what she is doing. Of course, she won the fight, of course. And from there, I followed her journey. You can love her, you can hate her, you can criticize her, you can say all the mean things that you have to say about her. She wasn't perfect, but what she did do was open the doors for something so powerful as having the female community enter into the combat sports. You can name me anybody else, I don't care. Ronda Rousey was the person who made this happen. And I felt really inspired, very inspired of what she did because of two things. She entered into a male dominant sport, and she proved to not only herself but to the world that females are also meant to be into that space, and they can do a really good job while doing it. But also the inspiration that not only sending this message, but also sending a message to the female community of, hey, I'm here and you can be there too. And I can only imagine of other 1,000 little girls seeing her fight, see in that specific moment, or that like exact time where they would have been, or they could have also been inspired of, wow, she's there, I can be there too, you know? So those two things struck me. And it's crazy because being so young, I feel like you wouldn't associate with these feelings or these thoughts of, I want to be like her, I want to show that I can be in that position too, I want to show to other females that they can be in that position too. So I knew from that exact moment that's what my life mission was going to be about. And I've always been, I wouldn't say I've always been, or that I've never been a girly girl, but I definitely have always leaned more into the rougher side, I guess. I did combat sports as a young age. I did combat sports like a couple years ago. I've always been into that area. I've always been an active person, but being able to go into this space as a female, it's still very, very intimidating, because even if you're not like a girly girl, or if you're not, you know, like, I don't want to use the word too feminine, but in a way it's still very, very intimidating, because you're into this area, into this male dominant area, and it is scary. It is kind of like, oh, there was times when I was doing combat sports at a very, very early age that I kind of sometimes didn't even want to go, because I was the only girl and nobody wanted to train with me. Not because they didn't want to train with me, because they didn't want to hurt me, and they felt that I wouldn't give them like a good pressure, so they would want to train with other guys. And so sometimes I did want to go train, you know, and these were just the things that I had to go through. But other than that, like, I knew that I wanted this to be my mission. I wanted this to be like my life purpose, and that's why I have so much passion of it in today. So fast forward to today, or fast forward to a couple years ago, I was able to join a boxing gym here in the US. I was training, I was really, really good at it, and I had the opportunity to go into an amateur profession or career. I was able to fight a couple times. I did the Golden Gloves twice. I was really, really wanting to go into this area. Like, I figured boxing was going to be my outlet. My message was going to be the same, of females can own a male environment space, females can be here, females can do it, okay, like, we can keep up, right? But the more and more the months and the year passed, I realized that I was somewhat in the same position of where I started, just because of my weight class, just because maybe where I was training from, it was very, very hard for me to find fights. In fact, there was many times where I would be close to the fight, maybe 1 week or maybe like a couple of days prior to the fight, and they would cancel last minute because the girl would either not want to fight, or there were so many reasons. And of course that discourage you, because you go through this whole fight camp, you go through all this prep, all this losing weight, and to get to the point where, oh yeah, we're gonna cancel, is really discouraging. And I realized that I was coming across with that a lot. So I really had to sit down with myself and picture, like, okay, is this truly my outlet? Is this truly the way that I'm going to be sharing this message? And I really felt deep in my heart that the answer was no. And it was very heartbreaking, because I love boxing. It's one of my favorite things to do. And even though I haven't done it in a while, it's one of my favorite things to do from the bottom of my heart. But I had to listen to my gut, and I realized that unfortunately boxing had to be put on a hold, and I had to find my different outlets. When I got into the weight room, and back then I of course didn't know absolutely nothing. I joined, or I bought a program from Tammy Hembrown. I truly don't know how to pronounce her last name. And I bought her program, which is the most dumb, in a way, money that I've ever spent, but it's also one of the best money I've ever spent, because it got me through the door, but it truly didn't show me absolutely nothing. Like zero. So, but it got me to the door. It got me through the door. It got me to train. I wish I had videos or pictures of when I really, truly first started. Don't have any, unfortunately. But I started going to the gym, and I really liked it. And I felt that itch. I felt that empoweredness come back again. That this is still, it might not be as taboo in a way as like combat sports, but hey, like, this is still a considered male dominant environment. This is still considered an environment that females might not feel as confident in what they're doing, in how they're doing it, and things like that. So I felt very drawn to the weight room and very drawn to maybe this is the outlet where I show and share my message. So I started sharing stuff. I started sharing stuff online, and just with the pure intention of sharing my message, of saying, hey, I'm a female and I'm here, and you're a female and you can be here too, and you can be strong and you can be confident, and you can truly light up the room by your presence right here. So I just started sharing stuff little by little, and the one thing goes with the other. You know, you're young, so even though I liked it, it was my passion, you're still young, so you don't really, you're kind of like moving around routes. You kind of sometimes want to do here, you kind of sometimes want to go over here, so you're kind of moving around. And that's when I started college. I went to college to start my kinesiology, I completely ruined the surprise. No worries. I went to college with the full intention of going into business. I went half of my time through my business degree, and I told my parents that unfortunately I am gonna drop that and I'm gonna go into my kinesiology degree. I wanted to start learning about the body. I really wanted to start learning about how to truly get the results that we're wanting to get in the weight room. I really wanted to know everything behind it. And that's when I completely switched all my classes, went into the kinesiology route, and did the personal training certification from my college. And it's, of course, one of the best decisions I've ever made. I absolutely loved the professor I had, and I realized that there's a lot of blank spots in what the females don't know that they had to do and versus what they did have to do, and I wanted to bring those gaps. Like I wanted to close those gaps. So I realized I needed to step up my game and truthfully learn everything that I could possibly learn. After I got all that, you're done with college. Once again, you're kind of like in this route. What do I do? This? Do I do that? I didn't really do anything with the knowledge that I had until COVID time. So before COVID, I was working some work jobs that I truthfully hated from the bottom of my heart. But you were just doing them because you were young and you weren't really thinking about the future. So then I got COVID hit, and that's when I came to realize, it was like one of those epiphany moments where I came to realize and said, okay, I feel like I'm really wasting my life. I hate my job. I'm not doing anything that I wanted to do. I'm not following my passion. I'm not following my mission. I'm not doing anything. And that's when, without telling anybody, I grabbed my computer and I started creating stuff. I started creating the logo, the current logo that we have right now. I started creating the logo. I started brainstorming the name, and I just started to truthfully see where I could go with this, see where it would take me. Like I said, I never told anybody. I just wanted to get the mind flowing and get the idea out of my head to see if it could really become a reality. Of course, fast forward to this now, but I was really, really eager and excited of no longer going back to that past life once, like lockdowns were up and we were no longer like in quarantine and stuff like that. I realized I didn't want to go back. I realized that I really wanted to follow my mission. I realized I really, really, really wanted to go deep into this, and then the rest is history. No, I'm just kidding. But fast forward to today, that's kind of like what I've continuously been doing, been sharing my message, been sharing everything that I have to share. I knew that when I first opened my Instagram account, like for the business, I realized that I didn't want to be your same old influencer, your same old fitness influencer, your same old coach that is telling you the same thing everybody's telling you, that is only showing booty pics, that is only showing glute workouts, that it's, like your regular Joe for fitness. I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to go against everybody. I wanted to, if people were saying don't eat carbs, I wanted to be the one to tell you no, you can eat carbs. If people were saying you should do let me think, you should do sumo deadlift for glutes, I wanted to go and say no, you actually are training more your adductors than your glutes. If people were saying, let me think, if people were saying don't train upper body because you're gonna get muscular and look like a man, I wanted to go there. That's genetically impossible. You can train and get really strong and look nothing like a man. I really, really wanted to go against everyone. So that's when I started studying. That's when I really, like, I knew that I needed to do more than just my certification and just my studies in college. Like, I needed to dive in deep, and that's when I've come across amazing companies, amazing mentors, amazing people that have taught me what I know now, right? But it's been truly a journey. So I opened the page. I knew instantly what I wanted to share, and I was going against people, or not fighting people online, but I was going against what people were sharing. Like, I wasn't posting booty pics. I was posting real content, stuff that like really mattered, that truthfully really mattered. Like, what does a booty pic do? Yes, it gives you the likes. Does it truthfully give anything for the person who's viewing that? Absolutely not. I really wanted to create content that was meaningful, impactful, and truthfully was going to make a difference for your journey, for the person who was viewing it. So I studied more, I got more mentors, I have grown, and I'm here now. That's a little bit of my story. I'm gonna go more deeper into now explaining the business and truthfully the mission and the passion that I have. So when I built Wallside Fitness, I had one thing in mind: female empowerment, female community, female family. So I built my elephant, the logo, that's looking forward. The elephant is looking forward because I wanted it to always be like, you're the elephant, you are walking forward, you're pushing yourself forward, you are moving forward, you're never going back, you're never staying still, you're always progressing. No matter what's occurring in your life, you're always going forward. I love the elephant because I chose the elephant because, one, I love elephants. Two, they are a very powerful animal. They represent strength. They represent like power. They represent a whole new meaning of confidence, of just strength. So that's why I chose to go with the elephant. It has a platform because I wanted the platform to be or represent the weight that we carry, the setbacks, the past history that we have, the downs, the ups, but the downs, the little roadblocks. I wanted all that to represent what we carry, but once again, the elephant is going forward. So no matter how much weight we are carrying in our back, we are always striving to move forward. So I love my logo. I don't think I will ever change it. I know there's gonna be like in the future rebrands and stuff like that, but there's something about that logo and the meaning that I feel like I'll always keep it. But then I went with Wallside Fitness. Originally the name was gonna be Loba Fitness for my dog, but it wasn't it. And then I truthfully can't remember or know how it got into Wallside Fitness, but it got into Wallside Fitness. That name was like, yes, it called to me, and I decided that's gonna be the name for the company. So when I built the company, everything I've done and built towards the company has been with pure intention. I knew that when building the company, I didn't want it to just be a regular company. I didn't want people to look at the elephant and just think of a brand. So, you know how you look at Apple, the Apple, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's Apple, you know? I wanted to represent something. I wanted to mean something. So for example, the logo on your Jordans, how it feels like it symbolizes, for many people, it symbolizes like athleticism, it symbolizes be the best that you can be. It symbolizes be number one, do the hard things, do the hard work. And I wanted to not necessarily those, but I wanted my brand, or I wanted the elephant to represent empowerment. I wanted to, people when they view it, they think my family, my sisters, my community, my outlet in from the world where I know that I am safe, secured, heard. Most importantly, I am pushed to be the best that I can be. So I didn't want just a brand. I wanted a community. I wanted a family. And I feel like I'm doing a really good job on that. But the person that truthfully allowed me to create this into reality was my dad. He pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And you know, daughters never hear their dads in the first time, in the second time, in the 10th time. We might start listening to them once they say this by the 100th time. So I followed his word. I followed what his intention had for me, and I built Wildside Fitness. And there's truthfully none of this would have happened if he didn't put the seed in my mind. The passion was there, but once again, the outlet. I needed to find the outlet. Boxing wasn't the outlet. MMA wasn't the outlet. I needed to find my outlet. So fast forward to today, that's what Wildside Fitness is. My pure mission, my pure passion is to have females around the world feel empowered to have food freedom, where they're able to eat the foods that they want to eat without feeling any guilt or shame, to have food knowledge, to know what their bodies can take, what can take. We live in a society where our quality of food diminishes little by little, and I want to be there to bridge that gap, to close that gap, and tell them this is what your body needs, this is what we need to give it to you, to truthfully be our healthiest self. Because to be healthy, it does not have anything to do with your weight. It has nothing to do with the physique. It has nothing to do if you have abs or not. Truthfully, the healthiest self that you can be is the most fertilist, is the most it's the most knowledgeable in a way, like where you're able to have the freedom, where you're able to build an empowered plate around food and know what you're eating, to be able to make these decisions, to be able to go to the gym, have the confidence, have the strength, have the power of being there, owning your space, and not taking one step back for anybody. So that's been my passion, my mission from day one. Wildside Fitness mission is to empower every female who come across Wildside Fitness, and to truthfully take them to that next level, to truly take them, unleash them, and bring them into this new persona that they didn't know they had in them. So that's a little bit about who am I, what my passion is, what started and created Wildside Fitness. I am very, very happy for this journey in the YouTube realm. A little bit of what this video or this channel is going to be consisting is a little bit of a more vlog approach, a little bit of more get to know the behind the scenes and get to know who's the persona, who's the coach behind Wildside Fitness, but also continue seeing that mission, continue seeing that vision that we have, that I have in the future for Wildside Fitness, and most importantly, making that a reality. I want to share, of course, knowledgeable content. I want to share everything I'm able to share to truthfully help you once again become that new persona that you didn't know you had in you. If you have any comments or if you have any suggestions, please set them below in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know if you like this video, if you feel related, if you feel like you're already part of the family. Once again, videos are going to be uploaded every Monday. So be on the lookout. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Dom_Wildside Fitness. If you want to listen a little bit more in the podcast realm, you could find my podcast Breaking Stereotypes, and I have definitely way much more content there than I have here. But yeah, I will see you next Monday. Bye.